This old guy DIY video has to do with trying to get a 1994 Mercury Force 40 horse outboard running. What you see here is the fuel line that was on the motor. I don't think this is even fuel line, but a friend recently bought this thing, and by some miracle the guy was able to get it started in his yard. But then when she got it to her house, it would not run. This was laying in the bottom of the boat, so that gave me some indication. And when I looked at the fuel line, it came up here. Here's your inlet, here's your fuel pump. And the line was hanging here with nothing, or no clamp on it, so fuel was leaking here. And it ran around the bottom to the other side of the carburetor. And over here, where it's supposed to come into the carburetor, the line wasn't tight and it was just leaking fuel. And after a couple squeezes on the bulb, the thing just fell off. So today I'm going to use actual fuel line, put a piece in there, and see if that makes the motor run. I was able to get the motor running. As you see, there's exhaust coming out the bottom, but not much water. So I'm also going to replace the impeller. But even then, when you bring it down to low idle, the motor would stop. So I knew I had to do more as far as the carburetor is concerned. It just wasn't right. When I'm pulling carburetors apart, I like to put them in these little plastic totes. It's invariable, a ball bearing or something I didn't expect will come falling out of there. So, time to go exploring. Here's what the bowl looks like. You can see there's crud down in here. So I'll take that and I'll blow everything out. Looks like the gasket could be replaced. But anyway, I'll clean up what I have here first and see if I can make this thing better. Well, it's been about an hour and it seems that this thing is going to run now. So what I ended up doing is, you saw me take the carburetor off, and that was just a matter of removing this one nut and then taking these two screws here, and you have two vacuum lines on the bottom. I believe that's for the automated choke. One is here and the other one is in the back. You just pull those things off. So I pulled the carburetor off. The needle was sticking a little bit. You saw the debris in the float bowl, so I cleaned that up. And then when I put it back in, I still couldn't get the thing to idle down. And what I found is they had done kind of a freelance engineering job bringing this line in for the fuel anyway. But it looks like this thing here has to have freedom to move a little bit. So I got this line out of the way, so this had freedom to move. It still wasn't quite right. It was idling crappy. So I took this thing to the bottom, and just life in general on two-stroke engines, it seems 1.5 turns off of bottom is where you start. So it wasn't idling very well, so I turned it out another half a turn. So right now I'm 2 turns out, and that seems to work. Then I had to come back over here, and I pulled this little deal off. I just put an open end wrench in there and popped this plastic fitting off, and then you can see where I extended that about 1/4 inch, so the motor stays running while you finish the high idle, so the control will allow it to shift. So anyway, it took a little bit. 1994 motor. Now we'll fire it up and show you that it works. And normally when I'm helping a friend with a new boat, the next thing I do is go check out the lower unit oil. You can see we started with a bunch of water with an ucky looking oil chaser. So we probably have some seals here that need to be replaced. But for today I'll refill it so she can use the thing this weekend. I'll worry about the seals next week. Well, I'm getting to know this motor. I pulled this part off. I guess it's a little bearing carrier, and it just had a couple of little Allen wrench screws that went on it. One on top here, one on the bottom. And I just grabbed this and kind of wiggled it until I could move this ear to the side, and then I put a screwdriver in from the back and just tapped gently. When I look at this thing, it looks like this O-ring right here, and there's a little rubber seal in there. It looks like those are the two things that are going to have to be replaced. So I just talked to the lady that owns it and told her my suggestion is that I go online, find the part numbers, go to Amazon. I'll order these seals and put the lower end back together correctly, and then she'll be good for the season, rather than putting it in for 2 days and having to pull it out and mess with this again next week. So this will be it for part 1. I hope this thing helped you. If so, please subscribe and have a great day.